Howdy. So, we're going on to the third one of these little extra talks that we got going on. Mm-hmm. We share a little bit about who we are, what we've been through, kind of what molded us into the artists that we are today, for better or worse. So we've gone over when it happened, you know, when the claw, is what I call it, blessed me with metal. When the calling, you know, the call of the bird of prey, of comic art, swooped into the heart of Kyle.
Spider-Man kicked me in the back of the head.
Yeah. Exactly, I love it. The Batman, you know, and then we talked about what was our first tools. Mm-hmm. Our rig is what I call it, which is the guitarist thing to say. And so now with this question, I wanted to talk about what was your first moment where you felt truly accomplished with your art. And so all of mine are pretty close in succession to each other within the first couple of years of everything that I've outlined for you here. But it was actually what had happened was I went to, like I said, I was behind by like a generation on terms of music. Like my friends were listening to, I don't even know what they were listening to, but I was like into AC/DC and early Metallica when, I don't know, like I said, I don't know what the ICP, I don't remember what was popular when I was coming up in the ranks. Yeah. Right, but I just wasn't into it. Like I never got into Marilyn Manson or any of that stuff either. Even being a metalhead, like it kind of made people be like, "Are you a metalhead?" I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, I'd listen to this, and they would be scared of what I listened to, and I'd be like, yeah, Marilyn Manson's silly to me. But anyways. And I don't care if Marilyn Manson ever sees this, I think you're silly. And then, but anyways, so what was the moment that I really felt accomplishment? The first song that I technically learned how to play front to back was AC/DC Back in Black, okay? But it was because of a VH1 or MTV. One of those networks, when they actually used to do things with music, they had a short series that would teach you how to play a song on guitar. I thought it was super cool. And one of them was AC/DC Back in Black, and I just saw it. And since I was homeschooled, spent a lot of time by myself, I was like, wow, I'll just carve out this afternoon and learn this. And I remember learning it and my mom being stoked because she liked AC/DC. And like my dad was like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool. But my dad liked Van Halen, okay? And so I got my hands on the tabs for the Hot for Teacher song. And I learned the iconic tapping run, right? Mm-hmm. I finally figured it out. It like clicked with me. I was like, oh, this is how he's doing that. Like I heard the sounds and then like I saw the shapes on the tab and I'm like, well, how do I do this and this and that? And I'm like, oh, like, I don't know if I saw it or what I did, but I eventually figured it out that, oh, this is my finger playing this, the other third here. Oh, okay. And so I'll just run through it like this. And then I learned it. And then he came home from work. And like, I'll never forget. And I was sitting there playing it. And he was just, that's awesome. He's like, can I record this? You know, and they had a cheap digital camera. Yeah. My parents were kind of like tech nerds. So we always had like the newfangled, like we were the first family with the internet. I was the first kid with like a first person shooter. And so me and my friends had the Wolfenstein. And we were like, what the heck, man? This is nuts, you know? So they'd all come over to my house to check it out. So they had this clunky digital camera that you would load instead of the SD card. Yeah. It was the 3.5-inch floppy disk. You would actually put it in the camera, yeah. So for you Zoomers, that is the save icon on Microsoft Word, right? You would stick that thing in there, and that's how it would go. And my dad has some footage, probably he keeps all that stuff of somewhere of me doing this. And that's when I really felt accomplished, is when my dad was like, yo, this is sick. And you know, we didn't have that kind of relationship. I didn't feel like I always had to like hunt for his approval, which was neat. But I'm not gonna lie, it made me feel really good when he was like, yeah, this is cool, you know, that I can finally play this. My mom, after a certain point, even though she was a pretty tough critic, was pretty much into whatever I was doing on the thing. Like my parents were really, really supportive of me playing guitar. And so I thank them for that. It really helped me feel, you know, like I wanted to keep doing it. But anyways, that was it, man. When I learned the tapping introduction to Hot for Teacher and like the verse guitar riff, and that was it, man. I felt truly accomplished. So what was your moment of, okay, you've got a sketch, or, you know, what was it? Was it a thing that you painted? Was it a sketch? Was it a series of sketches? What was the moment where young Kyle was like, I'm in this to take it all. I'm in this to win.
What's weird for me is the moment that sticks out clearest in my brain is not a moment where somebody was impressed with me, but when I finally impressed myself, if that makes sense.
Totally, because I have several other moments, like this is just the first one I distinctly remember.
Yeah.
But I have several moments where feeling accomplished was, wow, I actually did something I'm proud of, like this project. Yeah.
So my moment when I was like, okay, I actually feel like I can do this. Like, I liked it and I enjoyed it and I did it for a very long time, drawing things that I saw and like copying things down and like, but there was always something that I didn't like about it, or that was off, or that I was like, I didn't get that quite right. And I always had the constant praise of people being like, oh my gosh, that's so good. Oh, that looks amazing. But because I knew it wasn't perfect and they were telling me that's perfect, it made me like mad, because I was like, well, you're lying to me because I can see it and it's not perfect. I didn't do this right. But there was one time specifically that stands out in my mind where I actually went through and it was when I had the proper tools and everything like that, had the sketchbook, and I sat down, and over the course of like several days, there was this picture that I really liked of Spider-Man. And I used to only draw like, so if it was like Spider-Man in the city or something like that, I would just draw Spider-Man. And I wouldn't even bother like his webs or anything like that, just draw Spider-Man. I would like hyper focus on one thing. And there was one instance where I saw a picture of him and it was really difficult because there was a bunch of buildings and I just didn't mess with them, because anytime I drew buildings, it looked like, you know, somebody's messed up teeth or something. It never looked like buildings. But in that one in specific, I had been reading those books and I had seen how they had put their figures in the settings using like 2-point perspective, 3-point, all that kind of stuff. And so I saw that picture, knew that's how they did it, and then like did it. Now I'm talking, I was like, I might have been in 7th or 8th grade at this point, and I drew it. And to me, like maybe now if I look back at it, it would look different. But at the time, I remember thinking, I did it. Like I did it. I did exactly what I wanted to do, and it looks exactly like I wanted it to look, and it looks exactly like the one that I like. And I remember that one, like people obviously like, oh my gosh, that looks so good. But to me, I was like, yeah, it does.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, you're right.
And that's what's weird to me, is because like, it's obviously really nice to impress other people. And impressing other people, there's nothing wrong with like doing something and then wanting to hear a little gratification that's awesome. But the time that really sticks out when I was like, okay, I can do this, was when I drew something that I was like, that's good.
Yeah.
That was the moment for me, when I drew that picture of Spider-Man with the buildings, everything, like the windows, the bricks, and every little detail and everything like that. Once I drew all that, I was like, okay, I can do this.
That's cool, man. I like that. Well, there you have it. Those were our first moments of accomplishment. And again, we intend to do this like we've been doing, once a week, to release to the world, to let you in on, you know, who we are, where we come from, and we're really enjoying this. And I like this. It's helping build more. Like, we've known each other for a while, but I feel like I'm getting to know my homie a little bit better. And it's fun, you know. I'm having a good time. So, hey, tune in again next time.